There he is.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going?
It's going.
We're
Back
here we're back. We're here in Johnson Shadins State Park in Shadins, SUT dash INS
Okay.
State Park, Missouri. Do you know what that means?
You're shut in.
That's right. That's right.
Where at in Missouri? Like what part? Center, north, south, east, west?
Ivan, where is this? We're right at Mark Twain National Forest.
Oh, hey. I did some mountain biking there.
Yeah, so there's, of course, we didn't bring our mountain bikes, but we brought our gravel bikes because we're seasoned riders. I'm sure we can find some green courses to ride our gravel bikes on.
There's a Berryman's mountain bike trail.
Sir,
Berryman's?
what was that?
Berryman's mountain bike trail. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you dropped there for a second.
Ah,
This place here, it's probably me because this place here has absolutely terrible reception.
yeah.
Yeah. But we're making do with what we can,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, how's it going on the East Coast?
It's going pretty good. New bike coming this week.
So I heard, okay, I don't know if this is true. I heard that new bike is gonna have electronic shifting on it.
Yeah, it is. Electronic access. I got the Santa Cruz Blur, the XO version.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna have the shiftings and a dropper post.
Wireless?
I don't think the dropper post is wireless, but I guess it's a one up dropper post. It's whatever the stock is.
So why don't you want to go with the GRX Shimano on that thing?
GRX.
Yeah. I mean the Shimano mountain biking
Uh,
drivetrain.
well, I believe Santa Cruz doesn't offer Shimano.
Oh.
Uh,
Are they let me check that. Are you sure? Let me check that.
uh, there was the XX version, there was the XO version, then there was the GX version, and I didn't look anything after that. I just went
What?
for the XO.
Oh, you went XO.
Yeah, transmission, buddy.
You went from I'm not riding electronic drivetrains.
Now, I have said that I don't really need one, but if this is the option,
Yeah.
then I'm just gonna get this option.
Yeah.
It's the CC frame, so it's the reserve wheels. Uh, yeah, to get it through Flat Tire Bike Company in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, where I'm employed now. Uh,
Nice.
so yeah, we talked about it, and it's real similar to my Trek Top Fuel. It's gonna have 120 suspension in the front, 115 in the back. Uh,
Okay.
I thought about doing a 130, but 130, 120,
Yeah.
tall boy. And,
Ooh.
you know, I've been riding the 120, 115 on my top fuel. And
Yeah.
I, I looked at the weight, the tall boy was going to be like 29 pounds and the blur is going to be like 25.
Oh, that's oof. That's
So
a big difference. But
it is. And I'm thinking about doing some mountain bike races. So I thought, well, I'm just going to go with this. It's what I know. And uh, I'll have more than ample opportunity to try some other, you know, bigger suspension bikes at the shop. I might try some other stuff, but I figure if I'm going to buy something, I'm just going to buy this. Uh, Yeah.
did you hold on? So did you so I'm looking at the bike here. Let me see if I can share it for our viewers. Um did you let's see here. See if we can bring it into the screen here. I don't want to mess up my mouse here like I did earlier.
Yeah.
I lost my mouse earlier, guys. I couldn't. There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Right there.
It's trying to get in there. It's flashing back and forth.
Sorry, guys. We're on the road, so the tech is it's I can only work with what the accountant will let me work with. You
He is
know,
not much of a tech guy. I'm more of a tech guy than he is. I can
lies,
do this
lies.
stuff, but
So that's the bike, guys. That's man, that's a beauty.
yeah.
So pure XC bike, right?
Yeah. And that's the Sid version.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did
I believe mine's going to have Fox 34 on the front
yeah.
and Fox on the back. It's the
Okay, so
trail.
that was going to be my next
I think
question. If you got
I
do you
think
fly
that's
that
the
thing?
I think that's the race version, and then there's a trail version.
Mm-hmm.
And the race version is like a 100 or 110 in the front and like 95
Yeah.
mil
So let's
suspension in the
see here.
back. So it's there's a lot of rocks and technical mountain biking out here in Pennsylvania. So I wanted a little more suspension. But
I hear. I don't blame you, man.
yeah. Uh,
You know.
so I'm stoked. I think it'll be here this week. So I'll probably get it
Yeah.
put together and try and get out in the trails sometime this week. Uh,
That looks like a good bike, man.
I had when I started mountain biking back in the 1900s, I was on a Cannondale M5 rigid, and then I bought a specialized M4 off of a friend and rode
Yeah.
that for like a year, and the frame cracked. And while I was waiting for because the frame cracked, I wanted to get a full suspension at that point, and I was looking at a Rocky Mountain back then, and they were having trouble getting the Rocky Mountains. The
Yeah.
shop I was talking to, and another shop said, "Hey, I got these Santa Cruz Superlight," and it's like sold. So I
You're like, this is it. Like, let's
bought a
do
Santa
this.
Cruz Superlight, and I rode that for 8 years, 10 years maybe. Uh, I love that bike.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Nice.
man, you are just a bad weather magnet.
I'm telling you, man. I don't know what's going on, man. This has been some crazy last 2 weeks of travel, right? Although I don't think it's me to blame because I left Iowa and then they had the storm, right?
Yeah,
I just had the winds all over in Texas. Maybe I brought the Iowa weather into Texas.
yeah,
But yesterday was, it's hard to believe it feels so far away. No, Friday night.
yeah,
Friday night, it feels like it's so far away. But I mean, let's I'm gonna bring Yvonne up here. She's here. But we we got to MidSouth. It was a little breezy going there. It was fine, and there was some. We're supposed to have winds, heavy winds,
yeah,
but we didn't. I don't think they really thought about how heavy these winds were gonna be. Um, but we woke up, Friday morning. Yvonne was running the ultra, 32 miles. She got up, the rest started off good. I tried to fly my drone that morning at what 8 o'clock. Is that when you left for the start? Yeah, 8 o'clock. I tried to fly my drone, and the drone's like, "Hey, buddy, it's too high. The winds are too strong. Bring it down."
yeah, yeah,
So I brought it down really close, about 20 feet off the ground, and I was able to capture some riders. But let me bring in Yvonne because she was out there. So I went to the expo because she was running faster than she thought she was going to be. She was hitting her times way faster than she thought she was going to run. So I went down to expo. Our friends Jacob and Cass were over there. I get to the expo and everybody's in a panic. Things are blowing over. All the tents, the deal. What a nightmare. But Yvonne, yeah, she's here. We're gonna squeeze in here, guys. We're on the road. Uh,
Luckily, we like each other.
yes, let's zoom back out so that people can see you. There we go.
Hey, Yvonne. So, running an ultra, they make bicycles.
I was thinking that when going, and I was like, man, I could use some coasting up these hills right here. It was my first ultra on gravel. It was my fourth ultra ever, but my first one on gravel. So that was a new experience.
Did you do the whole thing? You finished it?
That's quite a story, isn't it? Yeah. So we started off as normal and everything, and I knew it was supposed to be windy. I knew it was supposed to be gusty. And luckily the route went south and then west, which the wind was supposed to be south and then southwest. So I was like, okay, it'll probably get better as things
get a tailwind at some
go
point.
along. I wasn't really sure how a tailwind or a headwind was going to affect running. Because I hadn't run in that type of wind before, but I assumed it would probably be less horrible than on the bike.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I made it to the halfway aid station, and things were going pretty well. I had trained to a certain extent. The longest run I did over 2 days was 26 miles, and then over one day I did a 20-mile run. So I'd done some longer runs, but when the wheels come off, the wheels come off. So I was like, if at mile 20 it happens, I just hope I can limp home. But when I got to aid station 20, and I would say that was maybe at like 12:30 or 1 o'clock, that was up on a ridge, and it was so windy. All the porta potties had blown over. There were 3 volunteers holding up a porta potty.
Holding the last one.
So somebody could use it. Everybody's stuff was all over. And then, I kind of asked, like, oh man, it's not good up here. And they're like, oh, we're up on a ridge and everything. And Aria had talked about coming out to that one, but didn't end up doing it just because of transportation.
Logistics.
And we wouldn't have wanted to stand around there anyway. I wouldn't have wanted to stop there anyhow. So I heard them say the last place runners were at the previous aid station. So 5 miles at least back from where I was. And so I just kind of kept going. And I was telling Aria I'll be in between 3 and 4. It'll probably be 3:30. Not really sure. I got to the 25-mile aid station and the road was lined with trees, and there was a volunteer kind of out looking up at the trees, and I was like, and the tall trees. Most of the course was lined with the shorter trees, and so I said, I guess I should probably make an effort to really run through this section. And he's like, yeah, I'm just checking because we had a tree come down up there. And so at that point, you went a little bit further and you could kind of see Stillwater, and there was just a haze over everything. And in my mind, I thought it was
dust.
Yeah, I thought it was just dust from all the gravel roads being kicked up. I wasn't really sure. Turns out there were fires starting in the fields outside of Stillwater and headed towards Stillwater. So I think like the biggest thing of the weekend was just things changed so quickly that we didn't really know what was going on. So I'm still texting Maria. It'll be 3:30 is kind of what I think. And I get down to this off the gravel onto the last pavement section, maybe 2.5 miles left. And I'm shuffling along and I bit it. I
got a butter scars to show it.
I tore up my hands.
Ouch.
And luckily I had on a long sleeve, so it's like they were tucked inside, and it knocked the wind out of me so badly. I thought for a second maybe I had a concussion. I just thought I was like evaluating, did I hit my head? I don't think I hit my head. And then literally within 2 minutes of that happening, Aria texts, they're closing the course. The police, public safety.
Yeah, the cop.
Like,
So we were at the shoot at the finish, right? Cheering the people finishing.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, at that point, we're getting 60 to 70-mile-an-hour gusts. I mean, gusts so strong that they'll blow you over when you're standing. So the cops came by. They told Bobby, "Hey, you gotta shut down the shoot. It's become too dangerous.
Yeah.
There's things flying off buildings. Power lines were down. The community center, which is a shelter, had lost power.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at that point they're like, yeah, we're gonna shut down the course and we're gonna start picking riders off the course. So that's when I texted Devon. I'm like, hey,
you gotta go.
because I could see her dot. She was like, 2 miles out or something at that point. I'm like, she's gonna be really mad if you run 29 miles and 30
Yeah.
miles.
Maybe not mad, but disappointed. Like,
Yeah,
obviously, they have
yes,
to do what they have to do to keep
Co-
people
yeah,
safe. But
absolutely.
so I'm like in this dazed state, and I was like, okay, you gotta go. And
This is it.
I also figured with people still behind me on the course, they would start at the back and move forward. So, and actually, the wind was really. You got into town and you did a little jog around the block to get to the finish line, and a few of those corners were really rough. So I'm texting Aria like, okay, I'm coming in, and I see the finish line shoot, like timing mat is still there. I see Bobby still out there. I come in, Aria's like in the bike shop.
Yeah, they wouldn't let anybody be
they
outside.
said you can't stand out here. So he sees me and he comes running over. And I cross the finish line, and I'm trying to figure out what's happening. And Bobby is spraying me with a bottle of champagne and telling me I'm the DFL because maybe everyone behind me has been pulled.
Oh, yeah.
How chaotic it was, because looking at the times later, I think a few people did come in and still go across the timing line. I'm not sure. So, you get the hug, and then
they get the champagne.
You get the champagne, and he goes, "This is the saddest DFL party we've ever had. Want to celebrate, but you can't stay here. Like, you have to." And so he's like, "There's a medal back there for you to pick up," and just was like, "You got to go." And so I grabbed my medal and a couple drinks,
and we're just trying to hold everything that we have together, and sand just blowing all over the place.
And I guess Jacob and Cassie were there, but I didn't see them because they weren't outside. And so
they had left because the district bicycles is right at the front of the chute. The finishing chute was completely loaded with people, right?
Yeah,
because people still wanted to see their runners finish and cheering on and stuff. So we were still out there. A bunch of us, I think we were in district for about 2 hours, would be my guess, maybe less.
And it wasn't quite derecho level, but even like in the next block before the finish line, as I was coming up, there was a tree that was completely taken down, roots and all, kind of in Iowa City and Cedar Rapids when we had the derecho. So we wandered back to the camper, and then Jacob and Kathy was still there, right?
It was still there, but man, it was, you could feel it more. It was unlike anything.
Yeah. And then Jacob and Cassie came and got us for dinner.
Yeah.
And took us over to their place. They were at an Airbnb just a mile from us.
Yeah.
And the sky kept getting like cloudier, but I still don't think at that point.
No,
there was fire warnings, but I didn't know that.
No, I knew there were fires because we were talking to some people in the shop. And they had their some fire up they had pulled up. There were dozens of fires.
Yeah.
I mean, throughout the county. And I think even farther than Stillwater. It was just unbelievable. So I knew that, and you could smell the ashes already. It was building up in there. But by the time we left, Jacob and Cassie's, the sky looked like, you remember that movie? You ever watched a movie, Escape from LA?
Yeah.
Not Russell, right?
Yeah.
It looked like apocalypse.
Looked like an apocalypse for sure. So Cassie doesn't even know who Kurt Russell is. Did you know that?
Oh, well, they're babies.
They're youngins. I was so disappointed. I'm like, who doesn't know Kurt Russell? But I guess it was in the 80s,
Yeah. Snake Plissken.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the sky was absolutely insane. And so by the time we got back to our campsite,
Well, and in the car on the way back, Cassie got an alert that there were evacuations happening in Tulsa.
yeah,
So of course we
yeah.
don't know Tulsa, so we're trying to figure out where these are at, and they're like, "Oh, well, up to the Walmart, and the Walmart's been
Stillwater, you mean?
in Stillwater. I mean,
Yeah.
up to the Walmart's been evacuated, and we kind of had that as a reference because we had driven past it, but it was like
Yeah.
not super far away.
No, it was not. It was
Um,
really maybe what 2 miles at the
Yeah,
most. But they told everybody that staying inside the city limits was your safest bet.
Yeah.
because also at that point, so we packed up stuff in the camper, so if we did need to hit the
Move
road,
out.
we could. But then when you're reading, you're hearing about these dust storms happening across the state that are causing, 20-car pileups
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
road closures. And with the wind, if you're in a high profile vehicle, which we're in like a 30-foot long box.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, and they were closing some portions of the interstate anyway. So
yeah.
so finding a safe place in the city was probably the best bet, and that's what we did. But yeah, quite the quite the event. Thanks for sharing with us your feedback
Well,
there.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was
32
changed
miles.
it up a little bit. 31.5.
31.5.
I won't take it.
I'm gonna call it 50.
That's right.
50K.
Yeah.
50K. It's a 50K.
It's a 50K.
Yeah. It was quite the day. I honestly I feel so heartbroken for the people that obviously some people lost their houses. Homes were burnt down. A friend of ours, Juan, came down to hang out by the campsite. We're like right downtown, and he
We
said,
were in the parking lot of one of the evacuation centers,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
So we figured if something changes, we'll see people leaving that building and know.
yeah. So we got to see, all his the victims coming in to seek shelter that had been evacuated from their homes. So it's kind of heartbreaking. But we'll put a link of the MidSouth fire relief in our description on the video once we're done, so that people can donate what they can. It's just devastating. But also, it's such a hard decision to cancel a race.
You've put a full year into
Yeah, I mean,
like
it takes a year to organize, as
Yeah.
big as it is, right? Getting all those people, all those vendors. Obviously, that's not the most important thing, but because people lost their homes,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's heartbreaking in all fronts, right? Like there was loss all across. Obviously, we will be back to support Bobby, next year. Jason, you should think about showing up so that we can do a live podcast there. But yeah,
I've never done it. It was one of those. I always wanted to do it, and it was early enough in the season that the bike shop was getting busy, and
yeah.
it's hard to get away. So
Yeah, and it was the new a new course. It was fixing to be about 8,000 feet of elevation in 100 miles.
yeah,
And some like he did a preview on his channel, beautiful roads. It was going to be a good day, and he had a sick music band for after the race. I mean, but things happen. We can't.
So what did race day end up turning out to be like weather-wise? Was it still windy and
so-
smoke and
I think the biggest thing was we couldn't go out there, some of the roads, because of the trees down, right?
yeah.
Power lines and stuff. So they posted a safe route on a 50-mile safe route yesterday. It feels like a lifetime ago, right?
It does. And do you know what time that got posted? I
I
haven't
don't
seen, but
remember.
people told us.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest issues they were facing is with emergency services working on fires all night.
yeah.
How are they going to deal with
Three-
responding to calls
And-
on the
yeah.
course, or
Putting
the
3,000
inevitable
riders.
person that breaks their foot on a curb or something like that, like all those sorts of things.
And putting 3,000 people on bikes on the roads when the community is already super stressed. So I think that was the right call, to be honest. Oh, we got Kurtik. Kurtik, welcome to the club.
Yay!
Yeah.
People are
So
listening.
yeah, we got some we got 5 people. Thank you all for tuning in. We really appreciate. We got 5 people who tuned
Well,
in.
well,
On
when
and off.
Yvonne walks away, it'll be 6.
That's right. That's
Yvonne, next time you do a run like that, you should do an arrow helmet
I
for
was
your
talking
runs.
about how do I get more arrow in my running? Do
Yeah.
you like get down? Do you,
That's-
but I have
that's-
no idea. I'm
That's the thing. Is actually, is there any?
a sail on the way back might have been good. Like
Yeah.
an in front parachute to pull me along. Although my quads still hurt so bad that the thought of being uncontrolled in my speed running down some of those hills sounds like torture.
That'll be so bad. We need to get out one. One of those for the elderly people, the things you put on the toilet. No, the side of the toilet. So
those handles.
The handles.
It is slow getting up and down right now.
That's what you see her walking up and down. We're in the camper, obviously. You see her walking up and down, like, I'm like, well, this is the price you pay for this for this fun that we want to have on running and biking. But
do you mind? How long did it take you?
I was 7 hours and 7 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's up, Kenya?
So not too, I've done one faster. I've done 2 other ones that were slower. So
about half as long as it would have taken me.
But yeah, it was an adventure, and it felt odd to feel like celebratory that I finished and all that with all the other stuff going on, and it still feels a little bit odd, but none of that is my fault, so I can't control it.
You've got a theme going on here. So first time Tour Divide, record-breaking snow. You guys are like,
I know,
avalanche stuff. Then you go to Gravel Worlds to do the Ultra 350, and you're hiding in a
the garage, unfinished garage. Who's hiding? So funny story.
It was crazy weather. I didn't get the most of that crazy weather, but it was crazy weather.
So funny story. Okay, we had gone back. Where was I when somebody? So I was out at another event.
Months
later, maybe the next year. And one of these guys, he's a friend of the channel, and he's like, "Hey, is your friend, still out there in that garage?" I'm like, "No, I'm like, she's not in the garage. She's my wife. I wouldn't have left her out there. she's been home with me for a few months now.
He let me out of the garage.
She might have left you out there, Rhea.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
She probably would have. That's why my legs are, unlimited power source in the legs.
Yeah.
So I can bike out of just about any
You
trouble.
just wait until you run out of battery on that new bike and your shifter and see if Lindsay brings you one. Okay.
Oh man.
Are you so
battery.
what on that note, what head unit do you use? Thanks, Yvonne, for sharing your time with us.
Of course.
Thanks, Yvonne. See ya. Garmin?
People, Jason, before guys, if you're enjoying this, if you want Yvonne to come back and share her wisdom sometime, let us know. Okay.
Yeah.
Leave a comment. We would like to know. So what do your GPS? What do you use for your bike computer?
The Garmin 830.
830. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And does that supports the SRAM integration?
Sure. I don't know.
Well, because the reason I'm asking this is one of the things you know about these stories of me running out of batteries. So
yeah.
What I end up doing for my Garmin, I have the 1040, but what I end up doing for the Garmin is I added let's zoom back in here since I'm the only one here. What I ended up doing with the 1040, you can configure it to connect to your SRAM access systems. That way, the first screen for me is it checks all my sensors and I can see battery levels.
Okay.
Yeah. Because then
I would assume it does that.
Yeah. So check on that. I would say for sure.
I'll probably be charging mine.
Yeah.
once a month, I guess, is what you want to.
Yeah, probably. Well, it depends on how much you're shifting. Oh, Ryan Egan's in the chat in wanting to know, Jason, what bikes are you riding?
Egan,
Yeah,
what bikes am I riding?
yeah.
This is everything I had in Iowa, really.
But with the exception of the new Santa Cruz Blur, right?
Yeah.
That's on the
Well,
way.
I got rid of my Jameis, and I'm riding my ECR and my felt cross bike. I got the felt cross bike set up as kind of like a gravel bike now, like a faster gravel bike, and then the ECR is still, an all around love
Yeah.
fest gravel bike. And then still got the Krampus and my road bike. But Egan's supposed to make me a seat post for. I'm still waiting.
Oh, is he making you tie seat post?
Yeah, no hurry, Ryan. I know. I know you're busy.
He's supposed to be making good on making you. So you want to tie seat post on your road bike?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an
And
odd
it's
size. It's
zero offset.
It's an old steel frame road bike from the late 80s, early 90s. It's called a Wheeler, and it's got a 26.8 diameter seat post, which is odd.
Yeah.
Not many of those around.
26.
Yeah.
Kurtik wants to know what tire setup. I am running the this is a shameless sponsor plug. I'm running the Bontrager Bitasso 50 mil tires.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. Did we talk about this? How impressive those tires were last weekend in the sand.
I think we did talk about it a little bit. Yeah, you like those tires, huh? So what do you think about the Terravale stuff coming out?
You know,
Terravale.
so did you send me a thing about that, right?
I mentioned it. Terravale's got a new Circo gravel rim.
Yeah.
Tubeless valve and the new updraft gravel specific tire. I guess they just came out with it. They just dropped it within the last week or so. But it's supposed to be a system specifically set up to work together to have the best feel and fast and all the things. So I was checking them out. Rim seems nice. Carbon fiber. The tire looks interesting. I might try the tire out. I've been kind of considering getting some 48 with gravel tires to try out. And I was looking at, what was I looking at? You were talking about the Cinturado. I was kind of back on that, trying to check that out. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll try this updraft. I like my Terravale Rutlands. I like the Cannonballs.
Yeah.
I like the Starwoods.
Let me see if I can find.
I've got honchos on my Krampus. I think Egan has been running the E line and the honcho.
Yeah, I have the E lines on my. On the top fuel. Fantastic tire.
Yeah.
That tire is completely slept on. I don't think people give it enough praise. Being also, it is a supple sidewall.
Yeah.
But it survived Leadville. It survived Colorado.
Yeah.
I mean, it survived any place I've taken it. Granted, I'm not doing crazy jumps, but pavement it rolls with the best of them. So that's it. Egan is the one we were talking about that tire a while back, and when I had my bike serviced at the end of not last fall, the fall before that, they threw the 2.4s on there. And man, that it transformed, and I have the tan sidewalls on there. But when we were in Leadville, the problem with when Leadville would have to ride quite a bit of road before getting up to the higher parts of the course,
Yeah.
and it would be like 10 miles uphill. And that tire no problems.
Yeah.
Holding speed, they roll very well. So highly recommend that tire. I think Yvonne has those on her bike as well. Really good, really good tires.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the I saw the 50 mil, that updraft 50 mil was weighing in at like 575 grams or something, just under 600 grams, which
Yeah.
that's pretty light for a 50 mil. They make some pretty light tires, especially if you go with the supple tan wall configuration. Uh, and then the rim, I think the rim was 370 was the weight on the rim.
Yeah.
And I think you get the rim only. They've got a 24 and a 28 hole drills. It's 25 mil internal, which is uh, interesting. Wonder how. I would think if you're going to run a wider 40 or 50 mil gravel tire, you might want like a 30 mil.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh, that's what I have on the ECR. I've got the 30 mil internal derby is my on the ECR.
Let's see here. Cardiac Hazard, what do you guys what do you guys about this new trend of cyclists fitting 2.4s on gravel? Oh, yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Jason? The mountain
Uh,
bike tires on gravel bikes.
Well,
I have my opinion, but I want to hear what you have to say.
it depends on really what you're trying to accomplish. If you're going out for a fun day of riding and stuff, yeah, you put whatever you want on there. Right now, my ECR has 2.8 honchos on it, or 2.6 honchos on it, and that's like monster truck tires. And
Yeah.
and then I've had 2.4s on it. I've had we used to do gravel rides where I had the 42 mil wide Caravelle Rutlands on it, and that's why I like that bike, because I could put up to a 3-inch tire and down to like a skinny kind of a cross bike tire on it if I, just swapping wheels and stuff out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're looking to race, I guess, I don't know, my opinion, if you're going to race a gravel race, you want 25 to 30 wide, and I would lean towards like a 45 or a 48. I don't think I would do a 50.
Yeah.
I feel like you're going to get between a 50 and a 48. You're going to save yourself probably 100 grams, which is half a pound in rotational weight.
Well, so what are most people are arguing about? Like they're saying that based on that website, tirerolling resistance.com or
Yeah.
something like that, that mountain bike tires roll faster. They're faster than gravel tires. In some instances, and also, since you have more volume, if you can't afford to, fix a puncture,
Yeah.
you want a big mountain bike tire is definitely going to hold up probably better than a gravel tire. Now the one thing, and I would definitely have run 55 Rene Hearses, which I really
Yeah.
liked. I ridden them for like 2 years straight, and it's the only tire I would put on my bike. So I like those tires. I think for me, it really I wouldn't want to run 55s all the time because of the different rides I might be doing. If I know I'm going to be doing a lot of road, for sure I'm not going to have 55s all the time. So what I've decided to do lately is find the best tire that would allow me to have the most fun on all the surfaces and be fairly fast. So I found that the 48 Rene Hearses did pretty good job of handling single truck, handling, some rougher stuff, and doing road pretty well. Noisy, they're pretty noisy for sure.
Well,
But yeah.
it's so subjective because I mean, a 2.2 with like a smooth tread down the center, you can ride really fast with that. If you do a 2.2 with a knobby, that's going to be obviously slower. What's the
until you get in the corner
how,
and you wash out.
yeah, well, I mean, and how much cornering is there in the course that you're riding? Or is what kind of gravel is it? Is it like chunky Kansas Flint stuff where you're worried about sidewalk cuts and stuff, or is it like you know middle of winter hard pack frozen roads in Iowa City, where you can that's just hard packed and you can run almost a road tire down some of those roads,
Yeah.
or you're out here in Pennsylvania and you're going up and down mountains that could be wet and muddy and rocky and rooty and
yeah. So I honestly think, like you're right. So I think with tire size, obviously tires are expensive. Just about everything with bikes is expensive. But I'd say if you know you're gonna be doing a ride where you can afford to puncture, and there's a very high probability it's gonna be a lot more single track than double track, mountain bike tire, or go 55 plus. Obviously Renee has those 55s that roll pretty well. But it's really gonna come down to why you're riding, to be honest.
Yeah.
The
another tire I was looking to try out was the Schwalbe G1. I see a lot of people running those.
Yeah.
They're pretty light. They've got a neat tread to them.
Do you think? And I don't know if Ryan, if he can still in the chat, but do you think you saw a new Renee Hurst that has a smooth? What's that tire called?
I saw it. I can't remember the name.
Well, they have that new tire, right? Let's see here. Let's see if we can find it. There we go. There's my mouse. All right. The Renee
corkscrew.
Yeah. Oh, is it? See here.
Corkscrew climb semi-slick.
This thing is transposed again.
Well, you rode the Fleecer Ridge, and then there's the Oracle Ridge. Yeah, I think that new one you're talking about is the corkscrew.
Yeah, I think so. It has the knobs on the side.
Yeah,
but then it has the smooth center tread. I don't see it on their website. Maybe.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Corkscrew.
Semi-slick. Yeah, corkscrew.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all the gravel tires are going to that center flat, like a Rampart, like a Maxxis Rampart. The Washburn, the Terraville Washburn was one. Cannonball has more. It's not as smooth. What is it? I can't remember what Vittorio had. Vittoria has one. I thought you rode those for a while.
I rode the Vittorias and I was not impressed.
Yeah.
I thought it was a slow tire for me. So I decided not to mess with it too much. So I rode it for maybe a couple months and I moved on.
So, I look at the weights. I'm a weight weenie about that stuff. And I don't know, I don't make it like I have to get the lightest tire out there, but I definitely pay attention to the weights because, I don't know whether it's right or not, right or wrong. I pay attention to rolling resistance. I feel like, if you've got a lighter rim and a lighter tire, it's going to spin up a little bit easier.
Yeah. The let's see here. Kenya says anyone using Hunt wheels see that they're running this spring cell and thinking about getting a pair of the gravel for the gravel bike.
What wheels?
Hunt.
Oh yeah, Hunt wheels are great. I've never ridden them, but I know a lot of people that ride them, and that's
So
good stuff.
so I obviously I won't name names here, but a colleague said that he went through like I think 2 or 3 warranty repairs of Hunt wheels,
Oh,
and the like I think the third time around they were giving him the runaround.
wow. Do they make
Yeah,
the new Belgium? Is that the new Belgian?
I'm not
Is
sure.
No, Hunt doesn't make the new Belgian. The new Belgian's somebody else.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Um,
You know what a good wheel to look into is? Boyd.
yes, yeah. Kenya, check out Boyd. Those are good wheels.
Made
Those are good wheels.
made in America. They have a great warranty.
And
They're
what's the other
reasonably
company?
priced.
Bird. Don't they make a wheel too? Bird.
The spokes, I think they probably do. They
Yeah, I
got
think they have their own. How they have a different wheel manufacturer make them wheels,
okay.
as well. So that's another good wheel. But yeah, Kenya, from what I've heard from a very reputable rider in our community, is the last time he tried out 3 different sets and they just kept on busting on him.
Wow.
So he's done. He's like, I'm done with, he was gonna get a new pair and just get rid of it. He just
Yeah.
try to get his money back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. We have Curtis asking. He's running 42 Pathfinders with a stigmata, and it's a versatile tire, flat in the middle. Yeah. So, like you said, Jason, looks like everybody's going with that center, the smooth center tread.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Now, do you think Rene Hurst is going to make that tire? Because right now it's only 42, right?
Thought
You
the
think
one
they're
I
going to make
saw
it?
was 44, maybe. Yeah,
Oh, is it
44.
44?
Yeah. I don't know if
I
they have
mean,
any other widths.
it would be nice to have that tire in the 40, 48 or at least a 50, maybe 55. And then you have the best of both worlds, you know, with the
So
endurance plus casing.
consider this. So if the
Yeah.
water is better, why aren't we all racing fat bikes with drop bars?
Well, no. According,
Yeah.
so from the testing that people have done, it's just the rolling resistance of a similar size tire between the mountain bike tire and the gravel tire. The rolling resistance is better on the mountain bike tire. You can also run lower pressure because of the higher volume on the mountain bike tire. So there's advantages to be had. Obviously, that's if you're gonna have an early course that's technical, then which makes sense, right? Like that's
Yeah.
why you don't see World Cup guys running 45s
Yeah.
on their mountain bikes because they might be faster on the road, but they're definitely not gonna be faster on single track. So the argument is if the course is technical and you want to really push your gravel bike, you go mountain bike tire, which makes sense.
I think if you want to be fast, you just ride whatever Keegan's riding. Just get the
No,
same
no.
bike.
You don't do that. You don't do that. No. You don't do that. No, Jason. That's not how it works. You run what's right for you, you know. I tell people all the time, like run what works for you.
Malocos.
You know. I've been like honestly, I ran Rene Hurst for the longest time. The Bitassos have treated me pretty well. So I'm like,
I've
well, it works
I've
pretty good.
never run Renee Hearses.
Only the cool
But
guys have run Rene Hursts, obviously.
I see a lot of people run the Gravel Kings,
Yes.
and not a fan
Yeah.
of Gravel King. I
Uh,
rode a Gravel King once, hit a little bit of mud and immediately went down. Was trying to go around a puddle and caught the edge of the puddle. wash straight
Now,
out.
is it the lack of skill? Do you just because of because you're not as skilled of a mountain bike as I am?
I think it's because the tread is
The trend. You don't like that the square pattern on the gravel.
and then the other problem was if you're riding behind somebody that's got Gravel Kings,
Oh,
you better have glasses on because you'll be getting hit with
and
every
you
rock.
better close your mouth.
Yeah,
You know, we were a couple years ago at Gravel Worlds, and about 80 miles in, we're in this section. It's super windy, uphill like
Yeah.
2 to 3%, so nothing crazy, but you run straight into a headwind. And this guy comes along, and we start taking charge. Actually, we're now good friends. He's a orange seal mechanic, so he shows up at all the events, and so we start taking turns. But he had the Gravel Kings on.
yeah,
I'm like, dude, this sucks, man. That the sand was just killing me. Just because I had, I was breathing, and then the rock just came off the tire and just busted me in the tooth. I thought I thought I chipped the tooth. I was feeling my tooth to see if I'm like, yeah, you're right. You gotta have the glasses on, otherwise you're gonna lose an eye.
Yeah.
Gravel Kings, you see those people? Don't work with them.
I tell you what, a ton of people ride those tires too, and they keep buying them, and
well, I wonder though. So now this could be a little naive for me. Don't you think though, because the Gravel Kings were kind of like they came in pretty early into they embraced gravel pretty quickly.
Yeah,
I feel like for the longest time they were like the defunct gravel tire,
Yeah, I think so. Because then it was that Cannonball, the Terraville Cannonball was the other one.
In the Pathfinders, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like those were the three, go to, and I think if I don't know if maybe look it up, but I think the Gravel Kings, those guys, that company, Partner Racer made a new track. They made a new gravel tire, right?
I used to. I had Pana Racers on my bike back in the early 2000s. What was I running? The Fire or something, or the Fire Starter or something? What was it? Yeah, I had Pana Racers on all my bikes back then.
Let's see here. Partner. You see this screen here that I'm using is so small. All right, let's see here. Let's see if we can find their new tire, because I think they released a new tire last year. Tires. Let's see. Gravel and Adventure. I gotta say though, wouldn't you say I think gravel is one of the best things that's ever happened to the bike industry?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the gravel niche of cycling? Guys in the chat, we want to hear what are your thoughts on the gravel niche in cycling? Like, please, like Jason, please tell us while I look up this new tire.
I think I love gravel riding. And I started off as a pure mountain biker, mountain bike racing and stuff. But man, I tell you what, if when I started mountain biking, I was if gravel was a thing back then, I would have been all over it. Because of course, it's tough too. Pennsylvania, there's gravel roads here, but it's you got to do road to get to the gravel roads. But definitely, Iowa was a lot of fun living there.
Right, we had a lot. Iowa is the birthplace of gravel, by the way. Anybody disagree?
I don't disagree.
So
is anybody disagreeing with you?
So I am sharing that the Gravel King X1 Plus. So that one, the Plus has the extra protection, looks like, and the tread is pretty fantastic on that. Look at that tread, huh?
That's the new X1, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so they released that last year. Let's see.
What sizes?
Oh, yeah, let me go back to that. See here if we can go back. Check out the sizes. Sometimes I feel like some of these websites make it so hard to find the tire
Yeah.
size. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah.
But
It was down there, right? Wasn't it? Scroll back
got
up.
the bid.
Yeah, right there. 3,700 by 39.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
The
There we
39,
go.
40.
40, 45 is looks like, and you can get in the town sidewall.
What's the weight? 610? I can't
Yeah.
read it.
600 grams. 600 grams for the 45s. 510 for the 40s. 35s. Man, who's riding 35s though? That's probably you, Jason.
Well, I have gravel tires on my cross bike, and I've been riding it as a gravel bike. And I got a 40 on the front and a 38 on the back. Just because I think I could put a 42 maybe on the front.
Yeah.
And in the back, I might be able to put a 40 on the back, but the frame won't allow it to get much bigger because it's a cross bike. A cross bike's only supposed to run a 33,
So what kind of PSI do you
32.
normally run on your gravel bike? Not the East Sierra, the other one.
This felt is I think last time I rode it, I was riding roads, so I had it pumped up like 40 or 50. But if I'm on gravel, I'm doing, like 30, 35.
Yeah.
Probably 35, getting close to 40. It's rocky around here, and
yeah. You don't want to pinch flat?
Yeah. Well, I'm tubeless.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, maybe burping the tire. So when I was down in after I left Turkey last week, let's see here. Renee Hurst says Kurtik says Renee Hurst tires are pain to sit. I was checking Reddit pages and people are screaming. And yes, because remember I used to bring you the tires to sit at the shop.
Yeah.
I'm like, let Jason deal with the tires sitting. They are a pain to sit. That's for sure, without a doubt.
Oh, you're overheated. You're warming up.
I'm overheated.
It just says you're overheated. You're going to shut down.
Holy cow. Let's switch the cameras.
I thought you got out of the fire zone.
Luckily for us, we came with extra cameras. There we go.
There we go.
Some of us are tech geniuses, by the way.
Yeah, seating tires, like if you're trying to seat it on the bead, man.
Yeah.
Some tires are just such a pain.
They are a pain. What we ended up doing with the Renee Hurst, we found that throwing them in sound unorthodox, throwing them in a dryer for a little bit.
Warm it up.
Does it. And then Yvonne ended up, Yvonne, did you end up putting a tube in? I think she ended up putting a tube in there and kind of forcing it to sit that way, then ripping the tube in. But yeah, great tires, but my goodness. Take it to the bike shop, if you don't have the time.
Down at World of Bikes, I was trying to seat a mountain bike on a mountain bike tire on a mountain bike rim, and it was a new bike.
Yeah.
And there was a tube in it, and the tire said don't go over, it was like 45 pounds max.
Yeah.
Get that bead seat. I put it around the corner and I'm pumping it up. I had that thing up to 90 psi before that bead finally went.
Did you blow it up?
No, it finally seated at 90 psi, but I was like around the corner. Nobody was coming around. They're like
stay back.
Wheel up.
I remember one time I was sitting a tire, I think one of the Renee Hurst tires, wintertime. I was outside my garage up front and it was cold,
Yeah.
But my valve stem had like a little damage on it.
Yeah.
So I somehow it was piece of metal was coming off, right?
Yeah.
And when I put the air chuck in there from the compressor. I crank it up. I start pumping it, and then I hear it sitting. I go
Yeah.
to pull the air chuck off. No bueno.
Yeah.
And it just like exploded and just, man, it whacked my hand. I couldn't feel my left hand probably for like 2 hours. I thought I blew my whole hand off. So I told Yvonne, if you go to use it, I think make sure you check. I wasn't sure if at the time I was just so flabbergasted. I wasn't sure if it was either my valve stem or the chuck.
A couple of tips. Try to get the bead seated on the rim before you put your sealant in there. If you're worried about it blowing off the rim,
yes,
put the sealant in after it's seated.
Yeah.
Another I know Schwalbe makes a tube of some kind of stuff, like a soapy type mixture that you rub on the bead of the tire that's supposed to have it let it pop up onto that bead a little easier.
Oh,
I've
really?
used that. Yeah, I've used that before.
What's that stuff called?
It's a Schwalbe, like a bead seeder or something. I don't know. You kind of rub it on there. I just use like a simple green or muck off, some kind of, soapy cleaner, spray cleaner, spray that all around the edge and make sure you got it worked around the edge of that bead on the tire on both sides of the wheel, and then pump it up. And if you're having trouble getting the air to like start filling the tire, like that's to get the bead actually locked onto the rim. But if you're trying to get that tire to like start catching air, sometimes you put a ratchet strap around the center of the tire and tighten that down and give it a shot of air, and that'll catch it. But you got to be quick. Once you get that shot of air going, you got to loosen that ratchet strap so it can seat itself.
So basically, so what's the order of business? Is that a one person job?
Usually.
Yeah. So you get the ratchet strap around it, right?
Yeah.
And then you go release the air and then release the ratchet strap quickly.
Yeah, once that bead starts to catch and it starts actually getting air in the tire.
Oh, and then you go loose. Okay, I see.
Then you pop the strap off and then it fills up the whole way. You could probably do it with a hand pump as well.
Yeah.
And then the other trick is you put a tube in, pump it up, get it to seat, but then you got to pop off one side.
Yep.
And then a lot of times if you pop that one side off, and if you're still having trouble getting the bead to catch air and seat, you put it on a garbage can or something. And as you're putting air to it, you kind of push down on the tire. You don't want to pop it off the other bead that's already set, but
yeah,
squeeze it. Some tires are hard. Other ones are real easy. Sometimes it's hard just to get the tire on the rim.
Oh yeah. It's definitely, I think I found it's a little bit easier with some of the newer tires I've had, like my like the Aeolus, the Bontrager Aeolus wheels.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just getting the tire completely on the rim. But once you get the tire completely on the rim, airing it up is as easy as pie.
You have the rim strip, the Bontrager rim strip in there.
Yeah.
Aeolus, yeah. That rim strip kind of keeps that when there's that deeper channel in the center of the rim that you got to get that one bead in to get the other side over the lip of the rim. And if you got that Bontrager rim strip in there, it doesn't let the tire seat down in there the whole way. Sometimes.
I don't know. Oh, I don't know if I think the connection's bad here. I don't know if I'm losing you or what. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can see you.
There we go. There you go. You're back now. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't sure. My connections not the best right now.
Is it windy out?
Yeah. And we're in a valley,
Yeah.
Um, but we using satellite internet, so it's working. It's working. So I don't know if it's you or it's me. I feel like
Yeah.
we haven't had issues in the past and
So
stuff. But
that Mark Twain, we took Dewey down there when he was a puppy, and
yeah,
we did a camp out in the tent,
yeah,
and I did it's called the Berryman Trail. It's like 25
yeah.
mile mountain bike loop, and I took off riding, and Lindsay was walking Dewey, and she had him off leash, and he just took off after me, and
Oh man.
he was gone for a few minutes. He tried to catch me. I didn't know about this until I got
Oh,
back.
you did. Oh,
And
you didn't
Lindsay
know it
was
was
like,
shit. It was
"No."
looking for you.
He was after me. But
The
Lindsay, he came back to Lindsay, and she's like, I thought he was taking off forever.
the riding here looks fantastic. I mean, I would say it's pretty hilly, so I think any of the rides we're gonna do is gonna give us some really good base training for
Yeah.
at least a week of some good volume of just annihilating the legs. But it looks cool. I think we'll do so we only have our gravel bikes, so we'll probably just stick to so is that Dewey?
That's Dewey.
Everybody in the chat, meet Dewey. Dewey's just hanging out there. His pup is let's see. Yvonne said if you I think you can buy the lighter case in the probably see easier. I've only used that is what I've heard. That the lighter casing on the Rene Hearses works a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah.
Sits a little bit better. But I like the supple. I actually no, we do the endurance stuff, endurance plus.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we like to send it. We like to send it. Speaking of which, when I was down in I don't know, you saw my reel on Instagram when I was down in Caprock, that place you've ridden,
Yeah, yeah.
or you hiked.
I hiked.
Man, the riding there, wow,
Yeah.
that is a fantastic place to ride bikes. Like burn on, like some of the best dirt out there.
Yeah. See, when I was there, it was back in the mid 90s, like 96 or 97, maybe. And I don't know. There wasn't even, they didn't even talk about bikes back then out there.
Yvonne's wondering where is Dusty.
He's sitting on the couch with Lindsay.
Is he reading a book? Have you
They
taught
got,
him how to read a book?
they got haircuts and baths today.
Oh, nice.
They were getting stinky, so they're all looking skinny.
From eating those deer bones, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, viewers, do you guys have any? We have 8 people in the chat right now.
Nice.
Anybody have any questions before we wrap up? Yeah, MidSouth, MidSouth went sideways this week, but
we can give you some kind of an answer, whether it's right or not.
correct. We don't guarantee the answer to be right, but we will give you an answer. MidSouth was obviously not the weekend that we all hoped for. I did stop and I bought a whole bunch of these.
Fuzzy Rabbit.
The fizzy waters, non-alcoholic. They're pretty delicious. I think they'll be really good if you put some vodka in there.
What flavor is it?
Mojito.
Oh, Mojito.
Yeah, Mojito. Pretty good. Sparkling hops. Pretty tasty. Highly recommend. They don't ship, so the only time you can get them is if you're in Stillwater.
Nice.
Came back with maybe 3 or 4 cases of it. I'm gonna try not to drink it all before I go home. Otherwise, I have to drive back to Stillwater to get more of this stuff.
So you guys are home tomorrow then?
No, we're gonna be here for a week.
Oh wow.
Yeah. We're gonna ride bikes and check out some new places. See what the forest, what the this this state park has to offer, and just looks like there's a lot of mountain biking, a lot of gravel routes. So it's gonna kind of ride a new
Yeah.
place. You know, it's
So
it's spring break week, so there's no rush in getting back home.
did you hear we bought a house yesterday?
No, tell me about it.
Yeah, we put an offer on a house and they accepted it. So
Why don't
we're
you just
fine.
take it? Didn't you want to get your dad's house?
No,
Your dad want no, no.
nope.
As long
So
as you have room for me, as long as you have room for me, and Ivan too, right, Ivan?
I'm already talking about addition, uh detached garage, kitchen remodel,
Yeah,
you know how I do things.
man. Yeah,
Tear it up and
you gonna find time to ride your bike. You don't want to get slower than me, man. This is prime time biking time. You might have to
I don't
probably
I don't
move
think
those projects to the fall.
I think we're good. Yeah, well, I think that's probably what's gonna happen. We'll probably try and move in here sometime next month,
Yeah,
and then it'll be doing stuff all summer, and then in the fall when the bike shop slows down, I'll probably start doing projects.
yeah.
So
Because remodeling by houses can wait. That doesn't need to have a good weather.
it's a good wintertime project. Now, if I'm going to do an addition, I might have to do the addition in spring, summertime stuff.
Yeah,
Interior stuff
yeah.
is good for wintertime.
Yeah, because you want to ride your bike. You just got
Yeah.
back to PA, so ride the bike. Because I don't want you to have excuses of why I'm faster than you. Okay, I don't want to hear you saying, "Oh, because
I
I'm remodeling my house. That's why my training block is short." Those.
I think I did have trouble riding this past week. Uh, but yeah, I think I'm gonna try and do a mountain bike race next week. It'll be my first mountain bike race in like 4 years.
On the new
On the
bike.
new bike, yeah. If I get it this
Okay.
week, there's a race next weekend, I think.
You're gonna have the action cam, ready to go,
Yeah,
because if it's not on camera, it didn't happen.
that's the
You
plan.
know. All right, people. Thank you for watching. And hanging out. We'll be back again next week, same time.
Tell
Right,
your
Jason?
friends we want more people to watch us,
Yes.
listen to
Send,
us.
send the podcast to all your friends. As a reminder, we are available wherever you get your podcast. I mean, this is a big time operation, guys, and you guys are part of it. You're part of it. You're here with us, having fun, with
Just look
us,
at the
and
production value here.
yeah, the production
I've got
fun is yeah,
I've got headphones even.
exactly. Thanks, Egan. Thanks
See
for
you,
hanging
Ryan.
out with us. Egan was out here. Yeah, man. Awesome. All right, guys. We will see you next week, same time. Send us your questions.
See you.
We are out. All right. Let's